What do Johnny Cash and John Owen have in common? Johnny Cash is my favorite singer from the 20th century. In fact, I have my Johnny Cash mug that almost always stays in my office. And John Owen was my favorite theologian from the 17th century. And I've got pretty much everything that Owen ever wrote. What did they have in common? Well, Johnny Cash's favorite verse was Romans chapter 8, verse 12. If we through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, we shall live. And John Owen wrote the classic book on mortification, an exposition of that verse. And so I thought I'd talk to you for a few minutes about this great book by John Owen. People are intimidated by John Owen. He's a Puritan. He can be hard to read. And I want to give you some reading tips on John Owen, and particularly this book, Mortification of Sin, because there are multiple versions and they're all useful in different ways. So if you just want to go straight to Owen in his works, it's volume 6. It's 86 pages long. The part on mortification, the whole volume is like 600 pages long, but only 86 pages for mortification. You can just read it straight out of his works. I've done that several times. It's really good. It's worth reading. You could also get this version, Overcoming Sin and Temptation, edited by Crossway. Justin Taylor and Kelly Kapic put this together. This has a useful introduction. They footnote all the difficult words, give you some definitions, kind of update some of the archaic language, and also helpful outlines for the book. So this makes it a little more manageable if you want to read Owen himself. Or you could go to one of the modernizations. So Banner of Truth, in their Puritan paperback series, has given us Mortification of Sin. This is abridged, made easy to read by Richard Rushing. This is a modernization of Owen. As you can see, that's about how long it is. This is a thin book. This is much more easy to digest, and I recommend it. Or you could get this version published by Christian Focus Publications. The great thing about this version is you get J.I. Packer's introduction, and anything by J.I. Packer is worth its weight in gold, especially when Packer talks about John Owen, and he talks about how this book in particular pretty much saved his life, helped him keep his sanity as he was learning how to deal with sin as a young Christian. There's two other ways you could get into Owen. Chris Lundgaard is a contemporary author who wrote this book called The Enemy Within, published by P&R Publishers. This is an excellent book, and it's essentially John Owen in modern form. It's not a paraphrase, it's not a modernization. It takes the structure of Owen's thought and gives it to us in a very contemporary book. Really, really helpful. Or you could read my little book on mortification, License to Kill, a field manual for mortifying sin. I like to think of this as John Owen for dummies. So if Owen feels completely intimidating to you, this little book's just a little over 100 pages long. It's really written for someone who has no desire really to read the Puritans. You want something simple, but you do want to deal with sin, and this book could be helpful. Almost everything I know about mortification I learned from John Owen. So there's some help for you if you want to dig into Owen, and don't forget to listen to Johnny Cash.